First hallelujah. First hallelujah. Can you just give us a little teaching, Bertha? Just go ahead, Bertha.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Hello, saints. Saints. All y'all saints out there. See, when they asked me to come and say, well, why don't you just come on out to this show? Because we, make people a saint. I said, well, okay. I don't know that I have to do anything. But I am this theater, this choir, this church, these musicians, y'all have blessed me tonight. Thank you so much for recognizing Acorn and recognizing the struggle, that the attacks that the devil put upon us, and which was a precursor to Wisconsin. But there's an evil going on right tonight. There's an evil in this town. This town is surrounded. It is surrounded by the most salacious, bodacious, outrageous, messinacious corporation that you ever saw. Mayday, right? Hallelujah. Mayday. It's the day for workers. But you ask any worker that works in a Walmart, you ask them, what about your wages? You ask them, what about your working conditions? You ask them, what about discrimination? And they will tell you that Walmart is a Walmart. Walmart sucks. I say Walmart. Walmart. Hey, Walmart. Walmart sucks. Walmart sucks. Walmart sucks. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Walmart sucks. And Walmart sucks. Oh, New York. But he's not coming into New York. He's not coming into New York. We're going to have the earth.
I was dreaming all of a sudden that the people in this town caught on to a great extent, and we were all out in the street protesting. But I think the likelihood of that happening is like we'll probably see pigs fly before that.
I put this business plan together that, with the help of different hardware organizations and people, and I went to several different banks to check on some funding. And when I got an appraisal on the business and the buildings, the appraiser actually came in and devalued the building. Here I figured it'd be appreciating after like 10 years, and he came in with a lower value, and I questioned myself, how can this be? I says, with inflation and the economy's not great, but still should be at least holding its value. And he said, no, he said, anytime a Walmart's coming into a town, they knock the values down, because sooner or later there's going to be a bunch of empty buildings and none of them are going to be able to sell.
Any community on a grand opening is going to see a change, drop in sales. It happens regardless of whether it's Walmart or somebody else. You'll get a drop in sales. So there'll be a dramatic change at some time. How long it'll last? Can't last forever, because you just can't stand the overhead if you don't have the business. So something has to happen. And let's hope it doesn't come to that point. But you never know.
Well, right now, after we liquidate the product, I'm in the process of trying to sell the
We own the building, so I'm trying to sell the building as well as get somebody in here that'll be able to lease too. I've got a couple people on the line right now that want to talk to me within the next couple days, and hopefully we'll work something out. We're going to sell the property, and you know, I'll be able to pay all my bills and walk away without any debt, and that's if it all works out right. And I pray that it will.
I remember that like it was yesterday. To hell with it, Walmart by the damn town. You know, we'll shut them down. And we used to drive through towns going 6 months, 3 months, 6 months of when we'd be closing them.
You drive up all the way up to New York City on Route 80. You can pull out to Clarion or any of those towns up there, and you'll see a Walmart up on the hill. You'll see a Perkins, maybe a Burger King. And then you'll drive farther into the town, and you'll see an empty town. It looks like a neutron bomb hit it.
We thought it was the most fantastic thing in the world that Walmart was coming here in Texas. I mean, it was like they had bestowed some great honor on the community. And we welcomed them literally with open arms. We you know, could not say enough good about them, could not do enough for them to help them come.
When Walmart first made the decision to come here, you could come to town on a Saturday evening and not find a parking place anywhere. I came to downtown Hearn on Saturday before Christmas, and there was 12 cars in downtown Hearn. I counted them, 12 cars in downtown Hearn. That is pathetic.
Walmart was a great thing for our community. It's really awakened the west side of our town.
I think Sam Walton would tell us, just as he did before he passed away, that the number one thing in this company is our associates.
You know, it's a community college. I didn't have much for anything else. You know, I was doing really well. You know, I had a 4.0 average. But life happens. You know, my dad got sick, my mom got sick. And things happen, and it just didn't work out the way I thought it was going to.
Right.
When I started working there, I had so much pride in my job. I did. I didn't mind being there when they needed me. I didn't mind doing... I knew that we were short-staffed. At that time, I didn't know it was a purposeful thing, that that's their intention.
They had stacks like this of applications in the back. They just didn't hire them.
Right.
And then we're told, we don't know what to do. We don't have the people. We don't have this. We don't have that. And I really did at first. I was really, I felt bad for them. It was like, oh, okay, I'll give you an extra hour here. I'll come in early tomorrow. Okay, I won't take my day off.
Always having to stay late. You're supposed to work till 11, you're there till 12, 12:30.
Keep the number of associates from being full-time as many as you can, keep them part-time as much as you can, and just keep reducing that expense.
The company doesn't allow the stores enough payroll dollars on their budget to get this job done, and the job is enormous. This company is raking in the dough in the sales. I mean, my store alone did over $100 million in sales the year that I left.
Having to get up with the kids, getting them out to school after 4 hours sleep.
They don't care about what you sacrifice. It doesn't matter how many people lose their families. It doesn't matter if the associates have good health care. It doesn't matter anything other than what the bottom line profit is for that store that month.
It just makes it really difficult to have a good family life at Walmart.
You know, if you can squeeze every dime out of them, you go for it. And it doesn't matter what happens to their families. If they fall apart, they get sick, you know. To hell with them.
We're troubled by the fact that there are people who work full-time who, in fact, cannot provide enough for their families to live decently.
It was just impossible for me to pay my bills and pay for daycare and work. Meaning that you should have plenty of time to go into the office. The money that I did get went right back into Walmart. I get my check, have it deposited, go shopping. When I first started Walmart, I had my kids on the Walmart insurance. It got to the point where it just was too much for me to handle. I just couldn't afford it. I'd have to pay my premiums at work, and then when I took them to the doctors, I still had to pay. I always had to pay a chunk of money.
I'm proud of the fact that we have the benefits that we have and that we have the wages we have.
People that's making $7 an hour that has to go to a doctor, they're not going to be able to meet that deductible.
And I have an 18-month-old baby, and he didn't have any kind of insurance. When he was sick, I would have to try and fix it myself, like get the medication myself. If he had to go to the doctor, I would have to take him and pay it as I could.
Sam Walton believed that it was inappropriate for an associate with illness in the family to have to worry about how were they going to survive the financial impact.
I was under my mom's insurance plan with a local grocery store that she works for, and any prescription it didn't matter what it was $5. And now through Walmart, for that one bottle of pills, I'm paying $70.
But I can't afford to put my children on the Walmart shirt because it's too expensive.
There's no way I can afford to have $75 taken out of each check just for medical. That's why, because I'm such low income, I am able to get the Medicaid for the kids through Colorado State.
But they're a billion-dollar corporation, so I don't see why they cannot offer a better medical package.
There's nothing we like better than relaxing on our porch watching the world go by.
I love the glow in the sky this time of day.
Those are the lights from the parking lot at the new Walmart.
Don't you think I know that's silly?
Great having a Walmart right across the way. No reason to go downtown anymore.
Oh, what with all those empty buildings and boarded up shops? Ick.
And we get to meet a whole lot of new people.
Well, not exactly neat.
Well, we can wave to them as they drive by. Sometimes the exhaust from all the traffic kind of gets the windy.
I don't mind, really.
Only hurts my eyes a little.
America. It's the land of the free, the land of mass consumption and mass retail. But across the country, an awakening.
Someday there isn't going to be this. You know, it's going to be all corporate America. No one's going to know what mom and pop is like. No one's going to know what customer service is like. It's just all going to be one big square box.
They walk into their old downtown and half of it's boarded up, and then they go out into the outskirts and it looks like every other town they've ever been in, with one big box, one big chain after another. So not only do you rob a community of its money, but you also rob it of its soul.
You know, the place that springs up that is kind of faceless, that looks the same in every city, inside and outside, that, you know, you could wake up in one, you'd have no clue, were you in Texas or Iowa or wherever.
When I came here, there was 2 stores open. There was about almost 2,000 people here. There's 600 people here. All the business closed up. The retail market there, the grocery stores closed up.
Over the last decade, 11,000 independent pharmacies shut down, as did 40% of the nation's independent bookstores. 100 chain restaurants capture nearly half of the average American's budget when they dine out. Borders now dominates the national retail book market, with over 1,000 locations bolstered by its partner, Amazon.com. Starbucks has nearly 7,000 coffee shops across the country, with 1,300 more by 2007. In some cities, you'll find several at one single intersection. And Walmart, the world's largest retailer, America's richest corporation, keeps growing with close to 4,000 stores and 4,000 more by 2010.
Let's see, we lost GE, Chicago Pneumatic Tool, we lost Bendix, we lost the base. We have a Walmart in Rome, we have a Walmart in New Hartford, we have a Walmart in North Utica. We have 3 Walmarts.
Lights. Camera.
Action!
Hanson Hussein and Heather Hughes are packing up what it takes to shoot a television documentary. 52 days on the road in the USA to find independent America.
2 former journalists. One, an award-winning international reporter accustomed to covering wars and disasters. The other, a television news anchor. Together, this married couple embarks on a homespun journey. They identify communities where mom and pop are taking on big box America. But they also rely on chance encounters to guide them through their marathon trip, always abiding by 2 rules. 1, they can only do business with mom and pop. No McDonald's, no Best Westerns, no Walmart's. 2, they must steer clear of all interstate superhighways. Instead, they travel on secondary roads.
Can't beat the old secondary highways. If you want to see how American people live and to realize everybody's a lot friendlier, it's a slower pace.
And currently, a staging ground for a deep and not-so-silent movement on the march, waging war against big business and the corporate machine.
People are beginning to see the hidden price. There's the price on the tag, and then there's a much bigger sticker.
Walmart descended upon our town and basically bought the election.
It was offensive to me that they were coming in across the street, and I wanted to see if there was something I could do about it.
It's definitely caused a lot of animosity in the community. They've been vandalized on multiple occasions.
Our attorney has advised us that there will be no comment of any kind concerning retailers of any kind.
Local is a way right now of people taking back control. In a world that seems out of control, they at least know they can choose a locally owned business, they can talk to the owner, they can learn more about what they're bringing into their home, about what kind of food that they're eating, and that it's become very, very important to folks to feel some authenticity to life, something real.
I worked for Walmart 17 years. I come from a poor background in a rural area. I was the first one in my family that went to college, you know, and it's like, I think it's amazing them I got through high school, you want to know the truth. I'm proud that I work for Walmart. I'm not proud of what I did for Walmart. Walmart should feel the same betrayal from somebody blowing the whistle on them as of all the hundreds of thousands of associates that they have betrayed. I watched so many people go without lunch in the lounges that I stopped eating in the lounges because I just had my managers eating there because I just couldn't stand it. They just wouldn't eat, and we weren't allowed to offer them any money. And there were people I see that didn't eat nothing. They'd take an hour lunch and just sit there. And I had people that worked there that were on welfare and working, or their husbands were totally disabled, and we're paying them $6.75 or $7.75 an hour. And on any given day, if you, for some reason, you just happen to tick off one of the managers, you can just be, if you're full-time, you can just work 28 hours a week. And if you tick them off bad enough, no matter even if you're just a subpar performer, just at the blink of an eye, they'll get rid of you. They'll find a reason. I found a lot of reasons and set people in a lot of positions to where they would fail just so I'd look good for my boss. Associates are disposable to them, just like that we flick a toothpick away after we get through with it. The philosophy of the company, do more with less. And I know the true meaning of do more with less. They want the associates to do more, and they're going to pay them less.
It's 3:25 in the morning in Dhaka. It's raining, obviously. Behind us, workers are still working, garment workers. They're going into their 20th hour of work. We've seen this in a drive around Dhaka. We've seen this in maybe a dozen factories tonight. These workers will work until 5 or 6. Maybe they'll get an hour of sleep, and then they'll start another shift, which will be 14, 15, or 18, or 19, or 20 hours. It's hard to imagine that in the United States, it's August. People are on vacation. It's August in Bangladesh, and these workers are working 20 hours a day, making our clothing.
In some factories, they have to work 15 to 20 nights a month, often until 3 a.m. or later. The women are separated from their families, especially the ones that have children, and this creates a lot of problems.
American corporations are seeking out the cheapest labor,
And right now we have 2.8 billion people around the world who are making products for Americans to buy, living off of less than $2 a day. The people making the goods that Americans buy are mainly young women in countries like Bangladesh, Central America, and places like China, where they're making pennies an hour, working 12, 14-hour days, sometimes 20 hours a day, and often they're beaten to keep them working so that we can pay less for what we buy.
We saw a lot of clothing for Walmart. The general working day is from 7:30 in the morning till 9:30 or 10:30 at night. Sometimes we have to work all day and night.
They told us how they're often locked into the factories. They're forced to do unpaid overtime, receive no sick pay and no holiday pay. They live in terrible conditions, often without any running water or sanitation. At 3 a.m. we can sleep on the ground in the factory, but we have to start working again at 7:30 a.m. There is no opportunity to go home. The whole month, working night and day. If there is any stop in the work, they start yelling. If we do anything, they start beating us. Almost torture. They go too far.
In this factory that was producing for Walmart, we know the conditions were brutal. The workers were forced to work from 8 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock, 14, 15 hours a day. They work in 7 days a week. They hadn't had a day off in the last 9 weeks. The workers were paid 11 to 17 cents an hour. They were beaten, slapped, screamed at, cursed at to work faster, to reach their production goals. They have absolutely no rights. If they try to defend themselves, they're attacked, fired, beaten. They were paid 6 cents for every $19.97 Walmart shirt they made. How do you think Walmart sells those goods for such low prices?
It's amazing that Walmart was the company at one time that was urging people to buy American, and now they're the largest importer of Chinese goods, and the Chinese are one of the worst slave labor countries in the world. We're buying the goods and at the same time ignoring what's happening in these countries around the world under these sweatshop conditions. Americans generally have been silent on this issue.
Disney, Walmart, and the other U.S. companies try to tell the American people that we shouldn't get confused, that 11 to 17 cents an hour might not seem like a lot of money in the U.S., but don't forget, we are talking about Bangladesh, one of the poorest countries in the world. In Bangladesh, they say, you can live fine on 11 to 17 cents an hour. But a visit to the homes of the workers shows what a cruel lie this really is. The workers are trapped in abject misery, living in tiny, one-room, 10 by 12-foot huts. Their houses are put together with thatch, scraps of metal, wood, plastic, and cardboard. 15 households totaling 80 to 90 people share one outdoor water pump, one primitive outhouse, one gas stove with 3 or 4 burners. There is never any privacy. The women bathe under a water pump with their clothes on.
Walmart claims they have a commitment, an advertising commitment. They're going to roll back prices constantly. Well, what they're doing is they're rolling back human rights standards all around the world. They're rolling back wages and benefits all around the world.
Walmart's $219 billion a year in sales exceeds the government revenues in Bangladesh by 55.5 times. What happens when workers ask that their rights be respected? Young teenage women in Bangladesh sold these Disney garments for 8 years under abusive sweatshop conditions. These women finally had had enough, and they stood up and they asked that their most basic rights be respected. They wanted to be treated like human beings, not like animals. So they said to Disney, stop the beatings. Give us 1 day a week off. Pay us our wages correctly. Pay us our maternity benefits correctly. Disney's response was to pull its work from the factory, to cut and run, and to throw the women out on the street with nothing, penniless. The message that Disney was delivering, not only to the women in the Shamwakta factory, but all across Bangladesh, to 1.8 million garment workers, and indeed throughout the developing world, is that if you dare ask that your most basic rights be respected, you too will be fired and thrown in the street with nothing.
After working 20 years in the factory, I was told that my eyesight wasn't perfect anymore, and I couldn't meet my quotas the way young workers could. When they finish using you, they just throw you away like an old rag.
Let me see. Wow, look how cheap this is! Where does this come from? How can they sell it so cheap?
Walmart sweatshops won't stay secret. We will let the whole world see. We don't want our hard-earned money siphoned off by corporate greed. We want human rights today. Walmart, we won't go away. Tell us where your factories are. Do they exploit the working poor? Hark to Walmart, we do say, people deserve a living wage. We are building a community. 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 We are building. We are building a community.
I would describe my community as a community on the rise. There's a lot of solidarity here. We all know each other.
Place where someone lives, a residence. The physical structure within which one lives, such as a house.
We're bringing in like 2,385 units of housing. It'll be an $80 million school. This was the best project that we've ever negotiated.
We want schools, we want parks, we want hospitals, low-income housing. Walmart? No, not Walmart.
You bring in Walmart, every study tells us for every 2 low-paying jobs you get, you lose 3.
What Walmart does is destroys communities.
As small as our community may be, we do have an economy.
The grocery around the corner
Really great guy, know his family. If he can do anything to help the community, always willing to do it.
We give special attention to our customer. I mean, our customer comes, they know us first. Since I know I have a customer since 1984.
Yeah, I do handiwork for the people. Sometimes they don't know how to put on a faucet, or they want to connect a speedy line, or they want to fix a toilet bowl that's clogged. You know, they give us a call, we go to their house and take care of it.
All day long we are here like a family. So I mean, they love the business, they love me, and I love them.
Tengo 3 hijos, sí, mi esposa. Sí, vivo de esto depende, mi familia.
If a Walmart was to come here to this neighborhood in East New York, I wouldn't know what to do.
Pasaría algo así, me vería en peligro para pagar mi renta.
You're killing an economy to bring in what?
If you really want to work with the community and putting something in that's viable and that's valuable, then let's have a sit-down discussion of what makes sense.
Related, you should come around my community, speak to the community, to the people that live here.
Don't be related to Walmart.
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 I always had a manager that eat in the lounge with the associates, and if anything was brought up about any terms, any union terms whatsoever brought up, we watched that associate first time we caught him talking to somebody about something. It didn't matter what it was. If we couldn't tell what they were talking about, we terminated them too. And that was just the beginning. Whenever I was transferred to Annapolis, Maryland, which was probably the worst time of my life, I was briefed on what to do when I got up there, and they had just come off of a union campaign, and to offset the vote, they had transferred 33 associates into the Sam's Club. And as far as I know, from what I was told by the director of operations at the time, I did find out later that they had backdated all the transfers to make the people legal enough to vote. And when I brought this to the director of operations' attention, she told me that I didn't know what I was talking about, and I just need to leave it alone. We used to drive downtown and just say, well, this will be a ghost town soon. And, you know, kind of proud of the fact that we work for big Walmart. We're coming in a small town. We are somebody, you know, almost like we're taking over. To hell with it. Walmart buy the damn town. You know, we'll shut them down. And we used to drive through towns going 6 months, 3 months, 6 months of when we'd be closing them. And unfortunately watched a lot of businesses close. And although, you know, Walmart says they'll hold this meeting and they'll help people, they'll send people in to help your business, you know. Well, that's great if you're telling your story on TV about what Walmart's doing for you, and then as soon as it's publicized or on TV, you know what, they pull the ad and dump you and they're gone. You think that was an isolated incident? That might be if there's one of your managers doing it, but if you have 8 and they're all talking about doing it, and they all come from different district managers, different states, different stores, they all train, how would they all know about it and know how to do it? The gentleman that was over the building of Walmart, he was like the real estate supervisor, I can't remember exactly what his title was, thought we would probably have a problem with the sign. And the building inspector red tagged it. And the next thing I know, that there's an overnight, they call me and tell me there's an overnight package coming for me and I'm to take it to this person. And so I just, the envelope wasn't sealed. And so I just opened it up and there's a $10,000 check, and I don't remember who it was made out to. And I gave it to the individual, and the very next day, the red tag's off the sign. 2020's out, hitting Walmart to check to see if it's really made in America. So I immediately just go out there and I start looking around to see if I have any signs that say made in America. I only had 106 signs out there, made in America. And the funny part about it is, after I got to thinking about it and walking around, It was made in Yugoslavia, China, Bangladesh. There wasn't but one rack that was there that was made in America. I don't care what anybody says. Anybody that works for Walmart's in management are not going to talk on camera while they're still working for Walmart. That's a death sentence right there. And let me tell you something. I still have a certain fear of retaliation without working for them.
I'm Betty. I'm a Walmart associate. I love working at Walmart. I love that they pay me less than men because that means I can't afford to eat as much and I get to keep my figure.
I love it down here with the ladies. Up in management, it's all men. I don't even know if they have a women's bathroom up there. Jim got promoted to management over me, but that's okay because he's a cutie.
Walmart's up! Oh! New York! But he's not coming into New York. He's not coming into New York.